We'll get started with the
Yeah,
preliminaries.
everything crashed again, so I had to reboot it all, but hopefully.
What's going on with that?
I don't know. I think people aren't shutting it down after the meeting, so when you open it up, it's still got the last session going. I rebooted everything, so it should be okay.
I usually have my hammer that I use, with it,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna ring the bell here.
Yeah, book.
Hey, everybody, take your seats.
Do you wanna run it or do you want me to? I've got a remote. I need to see here.
Good morning, everybody.
I mean, you can, but it's.
Well, happy Friday, September 5th, already. We got through Labor Day weekend and a wonderful car show. We're gonna start out today with our invocation by Faye Harriet.
We bow our heads. Dear God, remind us that our lives are a very great gift from you to us and instill within us the desire to live with gratitude for all that we receive and help us discover that a life that's centered on love can achieve great things. Through this greatest gift of love, we can bring hope and faith to a world that is desperate for both. Amen.
Thank you. Dave Williamson is gonna lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have any announcements this morning? Michael?
Hello, everybody. In 3 weeks, we won't be meeting here. We'll be meeting at One Dublin. Their thing is behind Kroger. And we'll be doing a service project with them, and we'll get a little tour and explanation of what they do as well. So please save up your holiday clothing items that you wish to donate. Bring those with you on the day as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Wolf?
Good morning, everybody. We have a annual Battle of Hard Road competition between Scioto High School and Worthington Kilbourne. And they have asked us to help them collect food items. The school who collects the most food items for the Dublin Food Pantry wins the battle. So in addition to a football game going on. So anyhow, next Friday, if you could bring in your food items and I will collect them and take them to Scioto High School. Any cans of food, any food items, they don't have anything specific, but it all goes to the Dublin Food Pantry. Thank you.
Thank you, Wolf. Anyone else? Any other announcements? Lou?
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
What a great show we had. I want to thank all the volunteers. Do you know how many volunteers we had? We had 42 volunteers at the car show. 34 of them were Rotarians, and 8 of them, I got the math right there, 8 of them were guests or spouses, etc. A little review, the fan favorite we did this year was a big hit. There were 480 votes. Now that's people voting, not people who entered their cars. So that means we had quite a group of spectators there. I estimate over 1,000 spectators came. The 50-50 raffle, the 50-50 raffle took in $570. We split half of it with someone, I don't know that he's here. John Susie.
He's on vacation.
He's already blown it.
Yeah, he's already spent it. He go to Vegas, and I guess We had 112 registered vehicles, and the income from that was $1,680. The auto dealerships and other sponsors with the 50/50 rally, the income was $9,165. That's a record. After the reimbursement of the bed tax, thank you, city. Yes. Yes, thank you, Dublin. Andy. And incidentally, after the show, I got a notice that we have to apply for next year's bed tax money, so it seems to never end here. So, but the net income then was $8,055. We have one of our sponsors here. It's KTKD. Would you like to stand up here? Korea Taekwondo. They were a sponsor, as I said, and now they're interested in joining Rotary and then maybe presenting. Thank you very much. The sponsors. City of Dublin, the bed tax support, thank you. Dublin City Schools, Dr. Marshall, thank you. Historic Dublin Business Association, Acura Columbus, Genesis of Columbus, Infinity of Columbus, Riker Chevrolet Buick GMC, VCA Animal Hospital, Todd Beckett, thank you, and Dinsmore Law Firm. Peter, thank you. And let's see, oh yes, Keeler Nadler, Family Wealth, thank you. And Caitlin Creations, thank you. It's a great show. Thanks for all your support, and look forward to the 8th edition.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Lou.
And Lou, you know, the car show is really a credit to you, and you know, that was your idea, and I know others contributed as well, but Lou made that happen, and it's really turned into just a special event, and we're just so proud to be able to host that and be a part of it. Thank you, Lou. Any other announcements, Dan?
Morning. So I'm looking in the room right now to see Calvin and Claudia, because there's a chance that I might mess up the details with this, but on your tables, you'll see like a registration form. We have an event coming up on October 24th here at the Country Club. And the evolution of this event came from we were supposed to have a pro-am event in the spring this year, and that kind of fell through for a number of reasons. And our fundraising committee said, why don't we try and get another fundraising event in 2025 to increase our fundraising dollars back to where we were targeting. So this event was suggested by Calvin, thank you. And I've been to this event before, and it's a really fun, interactive fundraising event where you can bet on horses, you can make 50/50 raffles and so forth. But the event is staged in a way where we have a big screen. There's going to be hopefully around 200 people there. So register yourself, register your friends, and we're going to take up this entire space. But we'll have screens, and it's all about virtual horse racing. There's going to be 7 races in total, and registrants can buy a horse where if their horse wins, they'll double their money, or they could donate it back to us. That's always a good idea. And you can also, we'll have betting stations where you can bet $1 or $2 on the horse and so forth. But there's going to be food, drinks, and hopefully a pretty lively atmosphere. So the registration is through Eventbrite, and for Dublin Rotary members, there's a discount code. The discount code is Dublin AM. And that's going to allow us to avoid paying the kind of doing a backdoor thing here. But it's going to allow us to avoid paying the Eventbrite fee, because we're going to have Amy just bill you through the normal channels of what we typically do for Dublin Rotary members. So, what, Claudia? Oh, yeah. So one of the things that you can do as part of registering for this event, you can either register yourself, a couple, you can buy 5 tickets, you can buy a table of 8 tickets, a table of 10 tickets. You can also buy horses, and Claudia is going to be passing around a form, and to buy a horse is $25, and you can name the horse whatever you want. Like the 2 things that Copilot came up for me was Rotary Rocket and Main Attraction. So you can use Copilot ChatGPT if you need some creative names. But yeah, so there's 6 races that you can, and there's 10 horses per race. So we're looking to bring in 60 people to contribute $25. Name their horse, name it after your company if you want. Name it after your grandchildren, whatever you think is great. And that'll show up in the brochure, because everyone that comes to the event will have the brochure. And yeah, did I cover it?
I think so.
Okay.
We're filling up the first 3 races first. So also, if your horse wins, you get $50.
Yeah,
So-
big money. Yeah.
I'll be passing this around. If you have any questions, ask me or Dan. But they're gonna fill up fast because we're taking horse names and horse orders on Eventbrite as well. So you don't want to miss out on this stellar opportunity.
Yeah.
Spread the word. Let, invite family, friends. Let's get a big crowd for this and have a great time. It's going to be a great event. And thank you, Dan, and your team for organizing that.
All right, thanks everyone.
Excellent. Okay, our Sergeant at Arms today is, yes, sure.
Thanks for everybody for coming to our event a couple weeks ago. Great success and about 35 people. But some items were left at our house. We have a.
That's mine.
Sure. We have this trick or treat platter. Somebody be playing that. And we have this one.
Okay, who's tongs? All right. Thank you, Tim. Okay, Sergeant at Arms today is Dave Benson.
All right. Good morning. All right, we got some guests today. We have 6 guests. We have the KTKD guests, Regina, and is it SK? Regina and SK, welcome. Ingrid, you have 3 guests, so I'll let you introduce.
JD Moore is joining us. He's been a Dublin resident all of his life. He is actually heading up in a leadership role for the USA Team Handball. And I've had the pleasure of knowing JD since my kids were together in school with them in 4th grade. They've gone all through high school and college together, and just class act. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Likewise, we have a business owner, a local business owner. Actually, I'm his guest, but I'm substitute hosting today. Vince, I'll let you say a word about your business too, and same with JD. And then we have Steve. You guys will remember Steve. Steve and Liz were host families for us for our foreign exchange to Blue Flora. So, and he's also a business owner of a technology company. Vince, if you would say a few words, and then JD and Steve, just introduce yourselves quickly.
Nice to meet everybody. My name is Vince Malilla, and I'm the managing partner for Leto Group, which is an EPA search fund. In more layman's terms, we're looking to capitalize on the movement of baby boomer entrepreneurs looking to sell their businesses. We're looking to acquire portfolio businesses. So we had our first acquisition this past January of National Metal Shapes, which is a flooring metal manufacturer in Delaware, Ohio. And I think it's going good so far. So would love to network and talk to anybody here. Look forward to being part of it.
Thank you.
Mayor said, my name's JD Orr. My mom was actually in Rotary from during that time, so I'm fairly familiar with what you guys do, but very happy to be here today. Like you said, I grew up in Dublin, learned how to play handball here, and now I've traveled the world with Team USA, both a coach and an athlete. I think it's a great opportunity for us to get everybody as involved in sport as possible. It's a unique sport, it's an Olympic sport. I will be there in LA in 2028, knock on wood here, we keep that rolling here, so the point is that I'm trying to get an infrastructure built here in Dublin. So we can have future Olympians come from here, so.
We have certainly recommend.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Good morning, thanks for having me, I'm Steve Beulah. I'm a small business owner here in Dublin, I live in Deerfield. I help people with their technology, basically it's called Techies. So I do TV installations, audio installations, networking, just general helping with computers and things like that too, so. I have a good time with it and I can help out, so.
Thank
Got
you.
that, Will?
What's that?
You don't have to do it all by yourself.
Yeah. We could use.
Thank you again for being a host, Ben. That was really great. Thank you.
Great time, and my wife's father actually has been a Rotarian forever in the Worcester area, so we're feel connected, I guess.
Great.
Thank you.
David, we have one more, I think, one more guest, and Shitra is joining us for the second week, right? And are you Barb's? Yeah. Barb's getting credit for bringing the guest. He does it best, and she's at every event for Dublin. I swear to you, everything.
Yeah, I've been living in Dublin for 39 years and long time volunteer. Actually, we started when the Irish Festival started. We were the first volunteer at that. And ever since we've been doing that and different places are in the chief advisory committee and the committee. So that's involved in Dublin. So, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, so I'm gonna do fines this week in the spirit of the lotto. If your first or last name starts with one of these letters, it's $1. C, G, K, N, P, and S.
Shit out.
So C, G, K, N, P, S, if your first or last name starts with one of those letters, it's $1. And if you're not wearing your name tag, it's $1. Okay, so the small pot today is $20. The big pot is $259. First number we draw can choose whether they want to take the small pot of 20 or draw a card to try to win the big pot. And I'll let Wolf draw since he's closest.
Ask for 3213.
3213. Got it.
All right.
We want the small pot or the big pot?
I'll take cash and try again on the next one.
Okay, all right, $20 to you.
All right. 3164.
Okay, you get the draw for the Queen of Hearts. And Peter, I'll turn it back to you.
All right, great. Thank you, Dave. All right, well, delighted to welcome our two guests here today. We have our city manager, Megan O'Callahan, and Scott Dring, the president and CEO of Visit Dublin. They're here to talk about Sports Ohio. Megan O'Callahan is Dublin's 6th city manager, a role she assumed on October 1st, 2022. She's been serving the city of Dublin since 2014 when she was hired as the city's public service director. Prior to her appointment to city manager, she served as the city's deputy city manager, chief finance and development officer, deputy city manager, chief operating officer, and director of public works. She's a graduate of the Ohio State University, where she earned her Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. And she attended the Capital University Law School, where she graduated magna cum laude and earned her Juris Doctorate. And I'm impressed as an attorney that she did that while working full time. So kudos to you. That's quite the challenge. So she's a registered professional engineer and attorney in the state of Ohio. And before joining the Dublin team, Megan worked for the Ohio Department of Transportation as a deputy director. She also previously served as deputy director for the City of Columbus Department of Public Service. And Scott is again the president and CEO of Visit Dublin. He joined Visit Dublin in 2001 and brings more than 30 years of experience in the travel and tourism industry. He has served in senior level positions for the Ohio Tourism Division, the Kissimmee, Florida Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Travel Industry Association of America, and Paul Worth Associates in Columbus. He currently serves in leadership roles with the Ohio Travel Association, Destinations International, Dublin City Schools Business Advisory Council, Franklin County Facilities Convention Authority, and other organizations. He has received the Certified Destination Management Executive designation from the Destination Marketing Association International and is a recipient of the Paul Sherlock Award, the highest honor in the Ohio travel and tourism industry. He received his BA in journalism from the Ohio State University and resides in Dublin with his wife and 3 children. So I'm happy to welcome Megan and Scott to our meeting.
Good morning, everybody. It's great to see you all. I've enjoyed presenting to this group over the years. You all have lots of fun, so please continue that tradition. I was actually planning on talking about the bed tax, but I don't know if anybody wants to talk about bed tax. We're here with commentary. No bed tax? Okay. Okay, let's talk about something way more cool and way more interesting, and that is Sports Ohio. So I'm going to kick it off and talk a little bit about the background, the acquisition, the planning that went into our ownership of Sports Ohio and some other land. I'm going to talk about just the land and the facilities in general. Then I'm going to hand it off to Scott Dring, our amazing partner with Visit Dublin. He's going to talk about a study that they commissioned a few years ago that also informed the acquisition and has been an extremely useful tool throughout this process the past couple years. And then I'll wrap it up by putting the sports complex in the context of the greater West Innovation District and talk about how the complex is going to fit in and how we're going to make sure that we're leveraging that acquisition and that investment to its maximum potential to benefit the entire district, the entire community, as well as the entire region. Sound good?
Great.
Would like to say?
Now go ahead.
Okay, we'll dive right in. So a little bit about the acquisition overview. So it was about 2.5 years ago now that Alan Shepard reached out. He was the owner of Sports Ohio and lots of other land in Union County, in case you know Alan. He reached out to see if the city would be interested in acquiring Sports Ohio. So conversations ensued. We met for over a year, discussed potential terms. I consulted with City Council. They were extremely supportive of the acquisition. Thank you to Councilmember Keeler for all the support throughout the process. So we were really excited about the potential opportunity. Alan had reached out previous times over previous years, but the asking price was a little out of reach at the time. So this time was unique. He was asking the city if we wanted to acquire the land for appraised value. So that was pretty exciting. We knew that there was a serious potential of the acquisition actually occurring. So we entered into serious negotiations with the Shepard family. We were working with Alan's 2 children, Samantha and Andrew. So we had great discussions over the course of a year, agreed on terms of acquisition of Sports Ohio. That conversation actually evolved to an acquisition of Shepard Excavating, which is right across the street. So it lies between Sports Ohio and Dari Fields, which makes that land really exciting. And then also they own a farm west of the railroad tracks, actually outside of Dublin, but adjacent to our corporate boundaries now. And that land is the Carter Farms. And that was a strategic purchase as well. So we ended up acquiring Carter Farms, Shepard Excavating, and Sports Ohio for $44 million, which is the largest acquisition in the city's history. Again, took a lot of work, a lot of collaboration, a lot of discussions with City Council, a lot of discussions with our finance team. And ultimately, we ended up closing on the acquisition about a year ago. So you can see this is a list of all of the parcels. It's about 242 acres total. And there's a variety of land uses that comprise this acquisition. So there's some vacant land, which obviously city owns vacant land throughout the city, and that provides potential opportunity for economic development in the future, perhaps roadway construction if there's a road needed in the area. Also potential recreational opportunities. So there's also, throughout Sports Ohio, there are the facilities that are existing there. There's also some soccer fields that are an important parcel, as well as the farmland of Carter Farms. So this acquisition is a very strategic acquisition. So it provides a lot of opportunity for economic development, transportation, recreational uses. It really aligns with many of our plans. Dublin, we're known for our planning. We're known for our strategic actions. So many of our plans align with this acquisition. So it really helps further a lot of those plans. So council's strategic framework and vision, visionary goals, our Envision Dublin Community Plan, Economic Development Strategic Plan, Parks and Rec Master Plan, our West Dublin Passenger Rail Station Plan, and Visit Dublin's Darry Fields expansion study, which Scott will talk about. So ultimately, when the city acquires land, and we've had a tradition or a long history of acquiring land so that we have the control and we're able to control the future of that use. So just a little bit about how this acquisition aligns with our economic development strategy. So our economic development strategy and Envision Dublin Community Plan calls for distinct development nodes across the city. So one being Bridge Park, the other being Metro Center, and then out in our West Innovation District around the OU campus. So it aligns with that. It moves the West Innovation District forward by setting the conditions for development. And then also it provides opportunities to build out our thoroughfare plan to provide connectivity between those development nodes and improved transportation across that area. So it also aligns with our Parks and Rec Master Plan, of course. It's a tremendous opportunity for our Parks and Rec Master Plan because we definitely have needs from a recreational standpoint as well as from a tournament attraction standpoint. So our Parks and Rec Master Plan talks about increasing the number of sports fields. Well, this acquisition absolutely did that. And a lot of people might say, well, the facility's been there for years. So how is it adding to our portfolio of fields? Well, for as long as Sports Ohio's been there, we as a city have not been able to leverage it. It really operated in isolation. There was no partnership between the programming and the city's programming. Although we tried over the years, they really did their own thing. And from our perspective, they weren't maximizing the use of the facilities at all. And I think Scott certainly would agree with that. So this is a graphic from our Envision Dublin Community Plan showing the future land use. And you can see the dotted line around the area out west. That's the area when I'm referring to West Innovation District. And this is zooming in on the West Innovation District. And you can see this is our West Innovation District Special Area Plan. And there's a lot of recommendations that came from Envision Dublin, which was an 18-month engagement process with the community. Hopefully everybody heard about that and had a chance to provide input. But it does provide there's the Indian Run goes through this district. So it provides for a future greenway and open spaces along the Indian Run to provide connectivity across the city, which we're also talking about a signature trail. We've had conversations with council and we've done some engagement with the community about a future signature trail that would run across the city as well. And this could be part of it. University Boulevard, we have two sections of University Boulevard built in existence. So one's alongside the OU campus. The other portion of University Boulevard was built in conjunction with the Ohio State University Wexner Ambulatory Center. So in the future, we envision those two sections connecting. And this acquisition helps facilitate that connection in the future. So it was extremely important. And that'll provide a nice east-west connector alongside 33, similar to Perimeter Parkway on the other side of 33. That's the vision for University Boulevard in the future when it connects. Also, we have, the potential expansion of recreational facilities at Darry Fields. Unfortunately, we didn't have the acquisition of Sports Ohio entirely wrapped up and complete in public At the time of Envision Dublin being adopted, it was kind of happening at the same time. But that's what this item is alluding to, is let's expand Dari Fields. Let's look at Sports Ohio. There's also land around there that could be utilized to facilitate the expansion as well. Also, it talks about leveraging economic development of the largest contiguous tracts of undeveloped land in the city that is in our western area of town. And then the new east-west road connection, which I mentioned as well. So this is a interesting picture graphic in that it shows all the land that the city owns in the West Innovation District. So you can see that we own the land around the Ohio State University facility. We own land up by the Ohio University campus. Now we own Sports Ohio, Dari Fields. You can see that we own the land in between Sports Ohio, Dari Fields, land south of Dari Fields, and also out west along the railroad tracks, which that provides the potential for, if passenger rail does come back to central Ohio, it provides the potential that we could have a rail station out that way. So that was important to own land on both sides, because it really does position Dublin nicely if that were to happen in the future. So owning all this land also really helps with our thoroughfare planning. So there's roads that need to be built in our West Innovation District to improve transportation flow out there. Right now, primary roads are Shire Rings, Cosgray. We hear about Cosgray from residents that live in that area. Ballantrae residents are reaching out about Cosgray and how it needs to be improved in the future. Well, the construction of, you can see the dashed lines are future, dashed blue lines, I should say, are future roadways that are shown in the Envision Dublin Thoroughfare Plan. So University Boulevard, in my opinion, is one of the most important ones there. That'll really help draw traffic off of Cosgray and off of Shire Rings and away from Ballantrae. So that's a great improvement. And then also a new roadway that would leverage part of Shire Rings that would go across the railroad tracks, connect over to Houchard. It's hard to imagine this, but Total Crossing would ultimately be extended to the west and then come up and around. So when cities plan thoroughfare plans, we do this in conjunction with all of the neighboring jurisdictions, because all the roads need to connect at some point. And that means that roads need to extend across corporate boundaries. So this plan is in partnership with all of our regional partners in this area. Financing plan, I'm not going to get into all of the numbers here, but it was a lot of work. And the financing plan that we ultimately came up with was a combination of cash, manuscript debt, and short-term debt. And this financing plan was in alignment with and compliant with all of our financial policies, including our general fund balance policy, debt policy, and investment policy. So we consulted with all of our legal, financial advisors. We took a look at the use of the land definitely impacts how we finance things, because we want to maintain that tax exempt status. So ultimately, this was the financing plan that we came up with. And now I'm going to turn it over to Scott to talk about the Visit Dublin Dari Fields expansion site.
Thanks, Megan. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. A little background on Visit Dublin, those who aren't aware of it. We are a nonprofit. Our ultimate goal is to promote, sell, market the city of Dublin to visitors as a destination. So we want visitors to come in town, spend money in our hotels and our restaurants and our shops, economic impact, create jobs, create that bed tax pot that you talked about as well earlier. And thanks to all of you at the car show. I happened to stop by there on Sunday as well. And those are the kind of events that are great for our community to bring visitors into town. We actually had our weekly call with our hotels yesterday, and they said our hotels were completely filled last week. And so I think it may have something to do with the football game, but I think the car show maybe we'll take the credit for the car show. So, but no, let me talk a little bit. And one of the things we did as well is we've done for the last 20 years, is we market and sell the city as a sports destination. And we've done that because I think the youth sports, a lot of us in here have kids, grandkids. We know how much we spend going on these trips across the country, if it's whatever sport it may be. We've been doing it for 20 years or so, promoting it. One thing we've run into, though, is we just have not had the facilities. Megan mentioned we worked with Sports Ohio for years, but Alan and that group kind of shut off Sports Ohio. So all we really had was Dari Fields competing with residents as it should be. You know, the space we had and the availability we had was really limited. So you look at here, our study we created a couple years ago, and this was before the Sports Ohio purchase. So again, like Megan said, we work hand in hand in concert with the city of Dublin. This study was going on at the same time as the Parks and Rec study as well. So it was kind of feeding off each other and providing kind of ammunition going into the Sports Ohio purchase. But if you look at this map here, it just shows you all around us, there's all these different opportunities, all these different major facilities. Grand Park Sports in North Indianapolis is the largest facility in the country. So, I've been to many of those with sports, with soccer and basketball, what have you. And we've always thought it was a great opportunity. We were losing money to all these communities around us. You notice one thing too, there's nothing in Central Ohio. So there's a tremendous opportunity for us really to grow that. So I won't go through the SWOT analysis, but I think there's major reasons the study told us that this would really work as a sports facility. One, as I mentioned, there's nothing like this in Central Ohio. It's a tremendous opportunity in the area. We could really corner the market. The accessibility in Central Ohio, I think the stat is we're within 600 miles of 60% of the US population. So we're very accessible to a lot of people, great infrastructure, and Dublin sells itself. Once you're here, you have all the amenities, the safety, the welcoming community that we are. So it's a win-win when people come here as well. I think obviously that the population in this area is continuing to boom. So I think that was a major factor as well in terms of why this would work. This was studying, again, I don't get too deep in what the actual facility would look like, what our vision was. Megan and the management team is going to dive in and see exactly what it is. But the research showed us that we are in need of a lot of things. One, I think the key word here is multi-purpose. We need multi-purpose fields. Daria Fields is a tremendous facility, has been for 20, 25 years, but it's grass fields. We have a rainy day one weekend for a soccer tournament, and you need to let those fields rest. And I think Dr. Marshausen will attest with the great fields, the synthetic fields and our artificial turf fields that the schools are building. We can use those 365. We can use them in day, night. We can use it for multiple sports. We can put all kinds of things on those fields. If it's soccer, lacrosse, we brought in lacrosse, Australian rules football tournament. We can use baseball. So those kind of fields is what we really need as well. The other thing we need down the road is indoor facilities. So as you can imagine, our biggest time of need for our hotels and our restaurants is first quarter of the year, January, February, March. It's shocking to say that no one wants to visit Dublin, Ohio in the middle of winter time. But I think that the weekends on those during that first quarter is a tremendous opportunity. And bringing sports in, indoor sports, if it's volleyball, basketball, indoor soccer, taekwondo, handball, all kinds of opportunities as well. I think those are a great opportunity as well to really sell the city. I think another thing that we talked about, and you look at the demand here, we're talking about demand of sports coming in, but what about local residents? That's our most important clientele or partner, our residents, as it is the city. We can fill this facility from a visitor perspective probably every weekend during the year, but it's going to be dark Monday through Thursday. And you cannot have a successful financial model if it's dark during the week. So what about local demand in the city? And there's tremendous demand. Dublin Youth Athletics, I've served on that board for years. Many of us have participated in that great program. They do all kinds of sports as well. I remember when I was coaching, we were going to Plain City, we were going to Delaware to find court time and places to play. So there's tremendous growth and opportunity for our youth athletics. So we're not talking just about travel, we're talking about youth athletics as well, and recreational sports as well to come in our town and use stuff. So I think there's tremendous opportunity locally that we all can see as well. And our soundbite that we always say that this facility will not only be a great economic generator for the local community in the city of Dublin, but it's going to be an amenity for our residents for generations to come. So I think that's why we're really excited about it. And again, kudos to Megan and her leadership and Andy and City Council of having the vision to begin to create this that is truly going to be an amenity for decades. I'll pass it back on to Megan.
You? Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. Do I need to do something?
I'll get it.
Oh. Okay. So an overview of the facility. This is a, high level overview of the Sports Ohio complex. You have the golf center, which has been operating very robustly. That actually was bringing in most of the revenue to support the rest of the facility. So they were making about $1 million off of the golf center as it's been operating to date. And the other facilities really weren't bringing in the revenue, but that was helping to support the overall complex. We have field sports, we have Soccer First. There's a gymnastics building, used to be a gymnastics building. It's vacant and they gutted it and they're just waiting. They were waiting on a tenant to take over that building. The chiller is not part of Sports Ohio, not part of our acquisition. It's separately owned. So we now own all of the land around the chiller. But just wanted to point that out. And then Power Play never reopened after COVID. So it closed down during COVID. Then they really couldn't get the staff. And then they just started thinking about selling anyway. So it just kind of is rubble at this point. So we're determining what to salvage there. And that's part of our master planning process. We had a couple of appraisals done prior to the acquisition. We had environmental site assessment done. We're clear on environmental. There were some environmental concerns with the Shepherd excavating site because of all the construction activity. And then you also have the petroleum facility adjacent to the north. So we do need to do some additional environmental work on that site. But we did lots of due diligence prior to acquiring the facility. We also had Baker Tilly come in and review all of the books because council made it clear that they needed and wanted this to be a financially sustainable endeavor in the long term. So we had Baker Tilly come in and look at Shepherd's books to do a review. And they did determine that the facility was largely because of the golf center, the facility was financially profitable. They also looked at the facilities, which the structures have been very well maintained. There are cosmetic issues, of course, and they can be improved from an aesthetic standpoint, but they did do a good job of maintaining the overall structures, which was great. There are 4 liquor licenses on site, so we're going to make sure that we leverage that because that'll help bring in the revenue. That also keeps parents and visitors and Bill happy when he'll go out and enjoy those benefits of those liquor licenses. But just wanted to point that out. They had never charged parking. There's ample parking. And when there's tournaments, there's cars everywhere. So those parking lots are extremely important. Operations Golf Center was run by Samantha Shepherd. That was her baby. She was there all the time. It ran very well. People loved that golf facility. Field sports had some clinics, some academy, some classes. Soccer First was only available for rentals. They weren't able to get staffing to support running the leagues and all of those adult programming that had been there years before. So Field Sports, Soccer First were operated by Andy, which was the brother. So there's lots of potential, especially with those 2 facilities. So just zooming in again, these are the WID parcels that we're talking about. When you take Sports Ohio, Shepherd Excavating, North Jewett, which is the farm that we own, in between those and Dari Fields, it's 286 acres, which is a lot of land. And when you look at sports complexes, I worked on this with Scott, when you look at sports complexes all over the country, this acreage would be the 3rd largest size-wise, acreage-wise in the country, which is pretty remarkable and shows all of the potential in this area. So management and operations. Under the purchase agreement terms, Shepherd family was responsible for continuing to operate the property or the facilities for a year following the acquisition to allow for a transition and give us time to determine how we were going to manage this facility in the future. So upon completion of the acquisition, we formed a steering committee, and this is a list of the steering committee members. It was a very impressive group. Thank you again to Councilmember Keeler for serving on this steering committee. We had representatives from the region, in addition to the community. So thank you to all of those who served on the committee. They were very helpful in determining our course forward. So this committee determined what the goals would be for the facility and the RFP. We determined that we would go out with a competitive selection process for a professional management company and operator to run the facility. So the goals are financial sustainability, of course, community engagement. We want to make sure that this is a facility that benefits the community and that the community enjoys and adds to the amenities in Dublin. And also we want to make sure that it has economic impact for Dublin and the region, as Scott talked about. So ultimately, we went through several month process of a competitive selection procurement process, and we received proposals from companies. And ultimately, we chose Sports Facilities Companies. I've heard about them for a couple years now from Scott. Scott's a has experience working with them and couldn't say enough about the work that they do. They really are the premier company. They run a lot of sports complexes around the country. They've been in business since 2003, so they definitely have a proven track record. They've worked with lots of communities. The closest facility that they operate is Cedar Point. I'm guessing several of you have been to Cedar Point with kids. So they operate, again, lots of the top tier complexes around the country. They have no desire to own facilities. Some of the companies out there kind of have an end game of owning. We weren't interested in that because we want to make sure that we have control. But they have no desire to own. They simply provide services, and they provide top-notch services. So we've been working with sports facilities companies for several months now. They officially took over management in July. So we had a month transition between sports facilities companies and the Shepherd family. So the Shepherd family now is out of the business entirely. So we were having weekly meetings with them to make sure that they were staying engaged, and then weekly meetings with both Shepherds and sports facilities companies. But they really do offer the entire package. They manage, they hire the staff, they keep the books, with us auditing the books, of course. They also do all the marketing for the facilities. They go to events, sports trade shows around the country, many of which Scott and his team also attend. And they also provide all the food, the beverage. So they really are a complete package of services. They also really pride themselves on community engagement. So during the selection process, and we reached out to other cities that have worked with them as well, they really, really pride themselves on working with the community and make sure that they're fulfilling the community's needs for recreational amenities and facilities, while also attracting those tournaments to make the facility financially sustainable. So they have that down pat. They're committed to doing that with this facility as well. So now we're working on a master plan. So I talked about Dari, the land, and Sports Ohio. We need to master plan that entire facility. We have the existing facilities throughout the complex. Are those the right facilities? Are they in the right location? What other amenities do we need to add to the sports complex? How can we truly make it the premier sports complex that is the best amenity for the residents? So this, again, is an image showing the entire facility. It's showing where roads might go when we further implement the thoroughfare plan. This is where we are in that master planning effort. So we started back in July, did some interviews with city council members, other stakeholders. We did some brainstorming. We've worked on coming up with some big ideas. And now we have Jamie Green and Sasaki, who are very well-known planners, working on some concepts that we'll be presenting to the public and city council for feedback. And then we're working on developing a framework by the end of the year. So now's the time. If anybody has any ideas, let me know your ideas. We're excited to hear them. And then this is West Innovation District planning. So you could see the bigger picture, special area plan. And now we're working on designing infrastructure, roads, utilities, and all that's needed to take Envision Dublin to the next level in terms of detail so that we could work towards implementation of Envision Dublin. And that concludes our presentation. So thank you all for having us. As you can tell, we're really, really excited about this and hope you all are too.
Any quick questions?
What citizen input would you like? You're gonna be having input opportunities. I know we've done that before in the past.
Yes, we absolutely will. We'll have surveys, we'll have meetings. There'll be lots of opportunities. Absolutely. And feel free to reach out anytime.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause to Megan and Scott. Thank you so much. So our next meeting is here at September 12th. We'll be welcoming the Chief Justice of the Ohio Supreme Court, Sharon Kennedy, next Friday. So please tell your friends and bring guests, and make sure everybody comes for that one. Our quote of the day: winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all-time thing. You don't do things right once in a while, you do them right all the time. Vince Lombardi. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Great. you staying for dinner tomorrow night?
I hadn't thought about that.
Well, let me know, because
I don't have any plans.
probably will, but you know, you don't have to.
Yeah, I think we'll stay.
Just all agree if we're writing.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it's dinner and there's a big speaker and stuff, we don't have to speak.
Right, okay.
Just hang it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good deal, 8:15,
8:15.
great, Claudia knows where I live, I'll wait outside and wait for you.
Okay, sounds good.
Good deal. Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
It's important when we shut this down to actually close, shut it down.
Yeah, I always do that.
Yeah, somebody left it running and that caused Zoom to crash like right before the meeting started, so.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Trying to remember who did it last. I can't remember.
It was a couple of weeks ago, I think, but